You see, something's going to happen.
What? What's going to happen?
Something wonderful.
What?
I understand how you feel. You see, it's all very clear to me now.
From ancient altars veiled in fragrant smoke to the quiet stirring of a tea for dreamworker healing, herbs have long formed a bridge between the visible and the unseen. Their leaves and oils, burned or brewed, have whispered their medicine into human nervous systems, altering consciousness, soothing wounds, and invoking spirits. In ritual magic and witchcraft, herbs are not inert substances. They are living agents imbued with planetary intelligences, elemental spirits, and psychic currents. At the intersection of botanical lore and neuroscience lies a mystery that modern research is only beginning to decode. In this episode, we will discuss jasmine, chamomile, vetiver, bay laurel, agrimony, patchouli, angelica root, calendula, and vervain, each long revered for both magical potency and physiological influence on the nervous system. With a particular focus on the vagus nerve and the 12 cranial nerves, we examine how these plants engage the body's parasympathetic pathways, enhance mental clarity, trigger trance or dream states, and activate spiritual insight. Their magical correspondences, gender, planetary rulership, elemental affinity, and divine associations offer symbolic maps that have guided healers and mystics for centuries. Drawing from both peer-reviewed biomedical literature and cross-cultural magical traditions, each plant is profiled in detail. Magical use is described not merely as superstition or metaphor, but as a codified interaction with subtle forces, often in the parallel with the chemical realities of neuroreception, olfactory modulation, or vagal tone. Lavender may calm the heart through linalool and air element ritual, while patchouli grounds the spirit through earthly fixatives and GABAergic sedation. The wisdom of these plants rests not just in molecular mechanics, but in mythic presence, ritual function, and embodied experience. In this convergence of magic and neuroscience, we find both reverence and reason, a place where ancient herbal rituals align with the pathways of the vagus nerve and where scent, symbolism, and synapse intertwine. This work seeks to illuminate how these 9 botanicals continue to serve as ritual allies and neurological emissaries, mediating between soul and soma, spell and synapse. First, we have jasmine. Folk name, Jessamine, queen of the night, moonlight of the grove. It's also feminine, associated with the moon, also Mercury in some traditions, and the element water, with earth influences, and also associated with Dhyana, Vishnu, and Rhiannon, often sacred to lunar and love deities. The waxy white blossoms of jasmine carry an aura of moonlit enchantment. In Wicca and folk magic, jasmine is cherished as a flower of love, prophecy, and spiritual connection. Its intoxicating nighttime fragrance is believed to attract spiritual love and inspire prophetic dreams. Indeed, placing jasmine in the bedroom or adding it to a dream pillow is said to induce vivid, divinatory dreams. Witches and mystics have used jasmine in rituals for attraction and romance, adding its petals to love sachets and baths to draw soulmates and deepen existing bonds. Jasmine is also a flower of happiness and wealth. When planted by the home, it is thought to bring abundance and protective blessings to the household. Culturally, it is a sacred flower across the globe, from the goddess Diana in Western lore to Kamandiva, the Hindu god of love, who tips his arrows with jasmine blossoms. Its folk epitaphs, like Queen of the Night and Moonlight of the Grove, reflect not only its nocturnal blooming, but also its status as a plant that bridges the earthly and divine. Burned as an incense or worn as an oil, jasmine elevates the psychic senses, aiding meditation and spiritual communion. It is said to open one's intuitive third eye, facilitating gentle spirit communication and guiding magical work with peaceful, loving energy. Modern science has begun to validate jasmine's profound calming effects on the nervous system, giving credence to its age-old reputation as nature's Valium. Researchers in Germany discovered that compounds in jasmine's aroma can enhance GABAergic signaling in the brain to an extraordinary degree. In lab tests, certain jasmine scent molecules increase the inhibitory neurotransmitter GABA's effect more than 5-fold, a potency as strong as commonly prescribed barbiturates. Inhalation of jasmine essential oil produces measurable sedation and anxiety relief. Mice exposed to jasmine aroma in high concentration grew tranquil, sitting quietly in the corner as their brain sleep centers were potentiated by GABA. This GABA receptor modulation is analogous to how benzodiazepine drugs work, suggesting a scientific basis for aromatherapeutic calm long attributed to jasmine. Human studies likewise affirm jasmine's effect on mood. A network meta-analysis of essential oils found that jasmine was one of the most effective aromatics for reducing acute anxiety, outperforming even lavender in some measures. Jasmine's sweet fragrance, when inhaled, has been shown to lower heart rate and induce subjective calm, hinting at activation of the parasympathetic vagal response. Beyond its neurological impact, jasmine tea, green tea scented with jasmine, is rich in antioxidants and is cherished in herbal medicine for boosting immunity and easing digestion. Notably, folk healers cautioned against excess use during pregnancy, as jasmine can be a mild uterine stimulant. Overall, jasmine engages the brain's calming neurotransmitters and the vagus nerve via scent pathways, truly meriting its historical moniker, gift from God, for the gift of serene delight it imparts. Next up, we have chamomile, folk name ground apple, scented mayweed, wig plant, maven. It is masculine, associated with the sun and the element water, also associated with Cernunnos, Ra, Helios, also linked to Ocean and other solar love deities in some traditions. Chamomile has been revered since antiquity as a gentle yet potent magical herb, treasured for its powers of peace, protection, and prosperity. Its bright gold-centered daisy flowers carry the warmth of the sun, and indeed, chamomile is often used in solar spells to attract success and dispel darkness. In ancient Egypt, it was dedicated to Ra, the sun god, and used in embalming for its protective qualities. Witches and folk practitioners burn chamomile and incense or add it to baths to break curses and hexes, believing its purifying vibrations can wash away evil influence. A classic usage in American folk magic is to employ chamomile in money spells and gambling luck. Gamblers would wash their hands in chamomile infusion to ensure winnings, as noted by herbal folklorist Scott Cunningham. The herb's sunny energy was thought to attract gold, hence sprinkling chamomile around the home or carrying it in a wallet invites financial abundance. Yet chamomile's magic is equally one of calm and healing. It is blended with incenses for sleep and meditation, used to consecrate sacred spaces with a peaceful aura, and sewn into dream pillows, often with lavender, to ward off nightmares and ensure a night of restful sleep. Chamomile garlands have been worn to attract a lover or to radiate a glow of charm and positivity. In protective rites, chamomile's gentle energy belies a strong force. It has been hung above doors and windows to keep out psychic attacks and negativity, its presence likened to a spiritual watchdog. This plant physician even extends its magic to other plants. Gardeners observed that struggling plants revived when chamomile grew nearby, as if its aura imparted healing. In summary, chamomile's magic is multifaceted. It soothes and protects, attracts luck and love, and illuminates one's life with quiet joy, echoing the golden glow of its blossoms. Chamomile is famed in herbal medicine for its remarkable calming and healing properties on the human body. Biochemically, chamomile is rich in flavonoids like apigenin, which binds to benzodiazepine receptors in the brain to gently induce sedation and reduce anxiety. Clinical research strongly supports chamomile's anxiolytic, anxiety-relieving power. A 2024 systematic review of clinical trials find that 9 out of 10 studies concluded chamomile significantly reduces anxiety symptoms, validating its traditional use as a nervine sedative. Chamomile's active compounds appear to modulate the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis and neurotransmitters, helping down-regulate the body's stress response. Chamomile's active compounds appear to modulate the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal HPA axis and neurotransmitters, helping down-regulate the body's stress response. In patients with generalized anxiety disorder, oral chamomile extracts led to measurable improvements comparable to standard anti-anxiety medications in some trials. Neurochemically, chamomile's apigenin is a mild GABA-A agonist, meaning it enhances the effect of the brain's primary calming neurotransmitter, GABA. This induces a state of relaxation without heavy sedation. Hence, a cup of chamomile tea before bed is a time-honored remedy for insomnia and nervous tension. Beyond the nervous system, chamomile has demonstrated anti-inflammatory and antispasmodic effects. It can relax smooth muscles and quell gastrointestinal cramping, partly via vagus nerve mediation of gut motility. It's used to soothe indigestion, irritable bowel syndrome, and even infant colic. Chamomile's inflammation-fighting properties are so potent that during the U.S. Civil War, doctors applied chamomile compresses to wounds to promote healing. It contains bisoprolol and matricin, which inhibit inflammatory enzymes and cytokines, biologically explaining its ability to ease headaches, muscle aches, and skin irritations. Notably, chamomile can even strengthen the immune system. Its antioxidants help fend off oxidative stress. Chamomile thus acts on the brain and body in tandem, gently enough for children, yet effective enough that science recognizes it as a legitimate therapeutic agent for anxiety and sleep. By engaging GABA receptors and calming the HPA axis, it effectively coaxes the body into parasympathetic rest and digest state, matching its magical reputation for bestowing peace and security. And next we have vetiver, folk name vetivert, couscous, oil of tranquility for the essential oil. It's feminine in energy. It's associated with Saturn and the element of earth, and also associated with Yema and Hoodoo and Ifa traditions, and Hecate due to underworld connections, and earth gods in general. Vetiver root is a beloved ingredient in witchcraft and perfumery, valued for its deeply grounded, protective, and secret unveiling qualities. This tropical grass's root has a rich, earthly, sweet scent, sometimes called the fragrance of the earth, and magic practitioners use it to anchor and stabilize spiritual energy. In rituals, vetiver is employed for grounding. After intense psychic work or astral travel, burning vetiver or anointing with its oil helps one reroute to the physical plane, preventing lightheadedness or spiritual burnout. It is often associated with the root chakra, providing a sense of safety and connection to the soil of Mother Earth. Vetiver is also renowned as a powerful protector. Sorcerers have long stuffed sachets with vetiver root to ward off negativity and malevolent spirits. When sprinkled around a property or used in floor washes, vetiver creates an energetic barrier against curses and psychic attacks. In Hoodoo, vetiver is classically used to reverse jinxes. Its defensive magic is said to not only dispel evil, but send it back to its source. The root's affinity for Saturn, planet of boundaries and secrets, means it can be used in spells to uncover hidden truths or ancient wisdom. Indeed, vetiver is linked to longevity and the revelation of deep secrets in some grimoires. Despite its Saturnian heaviness, vetiver has a sensual side. It's included in some love and lust potions, especially in voodoo and folk love charms, to add depth and enduring attraction. It's thought to attract a lover for life due to its persistent scent. Financial magic also calls on vetiver. Its grounding nature is believed to attract prosperity that is stable and long-lasting, as opposed to quick, fightly luck. Sprinkling vetiver in cash boxes or carrying it in mojo bags can bring in steady money and business success. Overall, vetiver's magical demeanor is calm, ancient, and unshakable. It bestows strength in times of crisis, binds lovers or friends in loyal unity, and ensures that wherever one stands with solid support of Earth's guardian spirits. The effects of vetiver on the nervous system are grounding in physiology as they are in spirit. Vetiver essential oil has been scientifically studied for its anxiolytic, anxiety-reducing, and neuroprotective properties. Notably, aromatherapists often call vetiver oil the oil of tranquility, and a 2015 animal study provided compelling evidence for this epithet. Rats that inhaled vetiver oil at certain concentrations showed anxiolytic behavior and elevated maze tests comparable to rats given diazepine or Valium. The vetiver exposed rats were calmer and explored the open arms of the maze more, indicating reduced anxiety, and researchers observed change in C-force expressions in the amygdala, the brain's fear center, consistent with an anxiety relief effect. This suggests vetiver's chemical constituents, rich in sesquiterpenes, likely modulate limbic system activity, perhaps by enhancing GABAergic signaling or suppressing overreactive sympathetic responses. Rich in sesquiterpenes likely modulate limbic system activity, perhaps by enhancing GABAergic signaling or suppressing overreactive sympathetic responses. In human aromatherapy, vetiver's deep smoking aroma is noted to steady the heart rate and lower blood pressure slightly, engaging the vagus nerve's calming influence. Interestingly, some studies have also found cognitive benefits. Vetiver inhalation was reported to increase alertness and beta brainwave activity in EEG recordings, hinting that in addition to calming, it can improve focus. Anecdotally, it's used in blends for ADHD support. Physiologically, vetiver exhibits anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. Traditional Ayurvedic medicine uses it in cooling drinks to bring down fevers and calm the body's heat. The oil can be applied in dilution to ease joint and muscle pain, its circulatory stimulation helping reduce aches. It also has mild sedative effects on the nervous system. Herbalists have used vetiver in tincture or tea form, the roots infused, to help with insomnia and nervine exhaustion. By reducing elevated stress hormones, one study noted vetiver aromatherapy could lower cortisol levels in stressed subjects, and promoting parasympathetic activity, vetiver exerts a stabilizing influence on both mind and body. Many find that vetiver's scent feels like an embrace from the earth. In neurological terms, it likely triggers olfactory pathways that signal safety, thereby releasing tension from an overworked nervous system. This aligns perfectly with vetiver's magical repute. Physically and energetically, it centers scattered energy, protects the nerve from overexcitation, and gently leads one into a state of calm resilience. And next we have bay laurel. Its folk names sweet bay, Grecian laurel, Daphne, bay tree. It is masculine, associated with the sun, sacred to Apollo, associated with the element of fire, and also Apollo, Daphne, Faunus, Ra, and generally solar deities and patrons of prophecy. Bay laurel leaves have been a symbol of glory, protection, and psychic power for millennia. In ancient Greece and Rome, wreaths of bay crowned the victors, generals, Olympic athletes, poets, imbuing them with laurels of triumph. This originates in the myth of Apollo and Daphne. When the nymph Daphne was transformed into a laurel tree to escape Apollo's pursuit, Apollo declared the tree sacred and adorned himself and his champions with its leaves. To this day, bay is used in magic to ensure success and strength. Witches write wishes or intentions on bay leaves and burn them to make the desires come true, and students sometimes put a bay leaf under the pillow to help succeed in an exam, drawing on its victorious energy. Bay laurel is also famed for its role in prophecy and divination. The Oracle of Delphi, priestess of Apollo, chewed or burned bay leaves to induce her prophetic trances. In folklore, it's noted that in large quantities, bay laurel can be mildly narcotic. The Pythia's inhalation of bay smoke, along with sacred fumes, helped her see visions, giving bay a reputation as a gateway to altered states. For this reason, bay is a common component in dream pillows or psychic teas. Though the leaves themselves are not ingested in teas, they might be brewed briefly for an infusion to stimulate clairvoyance and vivid dreams. The protected power of bay is equally celebrated. A bay tree by the home is said to guard against lightning and evil. Indeed, Romans hung bay in doorways during thunderstorms for protection. Medieval lore claimed that where bay flourished, no witch could dwell. Perhaps ironic, since witches themselves now use bay for protection. Sprigs of bay were used to sprinkle water in purification rituals, and even today, practitioners will burn a bay leaf in each room of a house to banish negativity. Bay is also associated with wisdom and intellect. The term baccalaureate refers to laurel berries and poet laureate, to those crowned with bay for poetic prowess. Thus, bay can be used in spells to enhance memory, focus, and creativity, like burning bay with sandalwood to overcome writer's block. In summary, bay laurel's magic spans protection, victory, and prophecy. Whether tucked under a mattress for prophetic dreams, carried into court for legal victory, or burned to cleanse and inspire, bay leaf is a venerable and powerful tool in the witch's arsenal, connecting the mundane home with the bright solar energies of Apollo's divine inspiration. Bay laurel, beyond its popular use as a kitchen spice, offers notable effects on the nervous system and body that align with its spiritual uses. Chemically, bay leaves contain compounds like linalool, 1,8-cineol, eucalyptol, and eugenol, which confer sedative, anxiolytic, and anti-inflammatory properties. Pharmacological studies have shown that bay laurel essential oil exhibits significant anxiolytic activity in animal models. In one study, mice given bay leaf extract performed similarly to those given diazepam in anxiety tests, demonstrating more exploration and less fear behavior, which indicates reduced anxiety. The anti-anxiety effects were comparable to a standard benzodiazepine, and mechanistic analysis suggests Bay's constituents likely act on GABA-A receptors, the same receptors modulated by Valium. Another research finding is that Laurus nobilis essential oil can prevent seizures and produces calming effects at higher doses, although at those anticonvulsant doses, some sedation and motor impairment were noted. This is consistent with reports that the Pythia's heavy use of Bay could induce a trance. Essentially, Bay's volatile oils have a depressant effect on the central nervous system when concentrated, leading to drowsiness or dreamlike states. Methyl-Unadrol has been observed to bind to GABA receptors in the amygdala and potentiate GABA's inhibitory action. Beyond the brain, bay laurel has robust anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial effects. The leaf's oils inhibit prostaglandin synthesis, COX2, and reduce cytokine release, helping to reduce pain and swelling in joints. Bay leaves or oil in a chest salve act as a mild expectorant and decongestant, soothing coughs and bronchial congestion. The vagus nerve, which controls aspects of digestion and heart rate, may also benefit. Bay has been used as a digestive aid for dyspepsia and bloating, possibly by relaxing gastrointestinal smooth muscle via cholinergic pathways. Some research even points to bay laurel improving metabolic markers. For example, consumption of bay was linked to better glucose control in patients, hinting at an insulin sensitizing effect. In holistic terms, bay laurel fires up the body's defense and insight. It gently stimulates circulation and the immune system. Some of its compounds are antimicrobial against common pathogens, while concurrently soothing the mind through GABAergic and serotonergic modulation. As a result, bay laurel stands as a unique herb that both invigorates and calms, sharpening the mind's clarity in low doses for cognitive boost and relieving anxiety in higher aromatherapic doses. These scientific insights mirror the ancient intuitions. The same leaf that crowned heroes and oracles also contains chemical wisdom that can steady nerves, fight inflammation, and perhaps even open the doors of perception in the brain. Next, we have agrimony. Folk name church steeples, stickwort, garclive, philanthropos. It is masculine, associated with Jupiter and the element air. It is not associated with any specifically widely noted deities, sometimes linked to Jupiterian archetypes like Thor or Zeus for its protective and truth-revealing qualities. Agrimony is a revered herb in folk magic, best known for its ability to turn negativity back to its source and to induce a deep, enchanted sleep. In the herb lore of the British Isles and Appalachian folk practice, agrimony was the go-to herb for reversal magic. If one believed they were hexed or had the evil eye upon them, a common spell was to brew agrimony into a wash or incense and use it to banish the curse and send it back, bounce it back to the sender. Because of this, agrimony earned the nickname Witch's Bane, yet ironically witches themselves use it as a protective ally. Dried agrimony in sachets or hung above doorways will ostensibly keep out baneful spirits and ill wishes, acting as an energetic filter that traps negativity. Another major attribute of agrimony is its role in sleep and truth spells. A charming piece of English folklore claims that if agrimony is placed beneath someone's pillow, it will make them sleep so deeply that they will not wake until the herb is removed. This legend highlights agrimony's power as a sleep inducer. It is a key ingredient in some traditional dream cushions to combat insomnia or restless sleep. Some occult texts also suggest that such an agrimony charm can be used to compel honesty, keeping a person asleep metaphorically in the dark until truth is revealed. Thus, agrimony was sometimes added to spells to expose liars or uncover secrets by preventing the deceiver from maintaining their ruse. Furthermore, agrimony has associations with healing and protection in a general sense. In medieval times, it was included in all heal salves for wounds and protection, and spiritually it's believed to lift one's spirits, cutting through negative thought forms that linger like a dark cloud. In American hoodoo, agrimony is known as a key component in reversing candle spells and baths. Mixed with rue and hyssop, it creates a powerful uncrossing formula that not only cleanses jinxes but mirrors them back, hence one nickname, Return to the Sender herb. Agrimony's Jupiterian connection, Jupiter being expansive and truth-seeking, also means it's occasionally used in legal magic and justice spells. For instance, a mojo bag with agrimony might be carried into court to help an innocent person by revealing the truth and ensuring a just outcome. It is also said to bless one with cheerful demeanor and bright aura, perhaps due to its sunny yellow flower spikes that resemble a miniature herald staff or church steeple reaching for the light. In summary, agrimony's magic is about reversal, revelation, and repose. It takes bad influences and flips them, forces that which is hidden into the open, and brings the peace of restorative sleep and relief from worry. Agrimony may not be as famous in modern pharmacology as other herbs, but it possesses noteworthy properties that gently affect the nervous system and bodily health. Traditionally, agrimony was used as a mild sedative and astringent. The lore of agrimony causing unwakeable sleep underscores that it likely has calming compounds. In fact, it contains tannins and flavonoids that have a nervine relaxing quality. Though scientific research is limited, some preliminary evidence suggests agrimony's flavonoids can interact with neurotransmitter systems. For example, agrimony extracts have demonstrated acetylcholinesterase inhibitory activity, which could enhance acetylcholine levels and potentially aid cognitive function. However, agrimony's more pronounced biochemical action is an anti-inflammatory and mild analgesic. It has been used for gastrointestinal issues. The tannins provide astringency that help diarrhea and can calm the gut lining, which indirectly can soothe an overactive vagus nerve in cases of gut distress. By reducing gut inflammation, agrimony might alleviate the kind of physical stress that contributes to anxiety. Historically, it was also given to reduce heat in the body. In modern terms, it has antioxidant components that reduce oxidative stress. In terms of sleep, while no strong sedative chemical from agrimony has been isolated, akin to valerian's valerianic acid, agrimony's calming effect may come from a gentle GABA-modulating action of some flavonoids or simply from relieving discomfort, since pain or digestive unrest can impede sleep. A commentary on one herbal compendium noted agrimony's reputation for insomnia, but admitted scientific support for agrimony's sedative effect is sparse, indicating its sleep magic might be more energetic than pharmacological. Nevertheless, agrimony does contain small amounts of nicotinic acid, niacin, and other compounds which can cause a relaxation effect or a slight drop in blood pressure, possibly facilitating sleepiness. On the circulatory and nervous system, agrimony is gently tonic. It improves liver function and thus can help clear the blood, which in turn may improve mood and energy over time, the gut-liver-brain axis. It improves liver function and thus can help clear the blood, which in turn may improve mood and energy over time, the gut-liver-brain axis. It is also used externally as a wound wash. Interestingly, cleaning wounds and sores promotes comfort and thereby can reduce peripheral pain signals that would otherwise keep the nervous system aroused. So indirectly, agrimony's healing of physical ills lead to nervous system relaxation. Importantly, agrimony has a long-standing safety profile. It was recommended even for children's nightmares and anxiety in folk medicine. Modern herbalists see it as a supportive herb for mild anxiety with digestive components, precisely because it addresses both the gut via its bitters and tannins to normalize digestion and the nerves via its gentle calming vibe. In conclusion, while agrimony won't knock you out like a pharmaceutical sedative, and any spell of unending sleep is likely metaphorical, it contributes to nervous system equilibrium in subtler ways, reducing inflammatory stress, tightening and healing leaky gut barriers, and perhaps mildly influencing neurotransmitters. This aligns with its magical profile as an herb that quiets disturbances, whether they be spiritual harassment or the body's eternal cacophony, restoring a natural state of harmonious rest. And next we have patchouli, folk name puchaput, gardenia, and graveyard dust. It is feminine and associated with Saturn and the element of earth, and it's also associated with Aphrodite, Pan, and Osane. Patchouli is an herb that practically embodies the earth element, dark, rich, and sensual. In magical practice, it is most famed for attracting love and money, and for its power to manifest desires into a tangible realm. The dried leaves and the potent essential oil distilled from them exude a musky, sweet aroma often associated with love spells and passion. Indeed, patchouli has been used for centuries as a natural aphrodisiac in folk magic. Sprinkling patchouli in a lover's bed or wearing it as a personal oil is believed to ignite lust and sexual magnetism. It is said to bind lovers together, not in an unwelcome way, but by deepening physical and emotional attraction, which is included in spells for fertility and carnal pleasure, honoring its connection to Pan and Aphrodite to bless the union of bodies and hearts. Perhaps even more prominent is patchouli's reputation in money magic. Its strong scent was historically used to protect valuable textiles. Silk traders in the 19th century packed fabrics with patchouli to repel moths and impart the scent of luxury. This association with valuable goods transformed into magical symbolism. Patchouli is believed to draw prosperity and abundance. One common spell is to anoint cash with patchouli oil or keep patchouli leaves in one's wallet to ensure it never stays empty. It's also used in prosperity candles and incense. The idea is that patchouli's earthly vibration grounds wealth in one's life, making financial success a stable reality, as opposed to fleeting luck. Hoodoo formulations like money draw oil often contain patchouli for this reason. Additionally, patchouli's earth element makes it a powerful grounding and uncrossing herb. It's featured in rituals to break negative habits and hexes. For example, adding patchouli to a ritual bath for cleansing or burning it to bury bad influences in the earth. Some modern witches use patchouli in banishing. Ironically, while it attracts what is wanted, love and money, it can also repel what is unwanted, like baneful spirits or energies, by its strong scent marking boundaries. Culturally, patchouli has an enduring link to the counterculture and spiritual exploration. It was nearly the perfume of 1960s hippie movement. This legacy endows it with an aura of freedom, earthly spirituality, and breaking societal constraints. Magically, we see this as using patchouli to open the root chakra, encourage self-love and acceptance of one's primal self. It helps practitioners get out of their head, useful in magic when one needs to connect with body wisdom in the here and now. Whether used in a love sachet, a money jar, or an altar offering to nature deities, patchouli provides a kind of raw, fertile energy. It smells like fertile soil after rain, a signal to the subconscious that seeds of intention can and will sprout. This is why patchouli is a staple in both witchcraft and perfumery. It both grounds and excites, attracts and binds, all with the throaty laugh of Pan echoing through its scent and promise of earthly delights and rewards made manifest. The rich aroma of patchouli does more than please the nose. It produces measurable effects on mood and psychology. Patchouli oil has been studied for its impact on the central nervous system, particularly regarding mood regulation. One remarkable finding reported by Japanese researchers is that simply inhaling patchouli oil can reduce experimental anxiety by up to 40%. This anxiolytic effect is likely due to patchouli's complex chemical profile, which includes sesquiterpenes, norpatchoulines, and bulonicine that interact with the limbic system upon inhalation. Patchouli's aroma appears to trigger the brain to release dopamine and serotonin, the feel-good neurotransmitters. A 2022 rat study found that patchouli oil high in patchoulol had antidepressant-like effects comparable to fluoxetine, attributed to a significant increase in brain dopamine levels. This aligns with traditional aromatherapy claims that patchouli uplifts mood and elevates stress-related depression. Interestingly, where many floral essential oils are stimulatory, patchouli is somewhat balancing. It can be both grounding and gently stimulating. EEG studies show that patchouli aroma can increase alpha and theta brainwaves associated with relaxation while also supporting beta waves alertness at lower concentrations. It's noted as especially useful for people who feel spacey or disassociated. Its odor brings awareness back to the body, which corresponds to magical grounding. On the parasympathetic nervous system, patchouli seems to have a regulatory role. Practitioners often report deeper breaths and a pleasant sigh response after inhaling it, suggesting vagal activation that slows the heart and calms the fight or flight response. In terms of bodily effects, patchouli is anti-inflammatory, antifungal, and even somewhat analgesic. It has been used topically to treat skin conditions like dermatitis and fungal infections. These skin-soothing properties can indirectly ease the nervous system by relieving physical itching or irritation that could cause restlessness. Furthermore, patchouli may influence the endocrine system. It has been mentioned in texts on libido enhancement. It likely increases circulation and has a mild hormone-modulating effect that can reduce cortisol, stress hormone, while boosting feelings of arousal and contentment. Modern clinical trials have found that patchouli aromatherapy can improve sleep quality and reduce anxiety in patients. It's a key ingredient in many commercial anti-stress essential oil blends. Another interesting angle is appetite modulation. Some sources claim patchouli can either curb excessive appetite or ground someone who forgets to eat due to anxiety. This dual action might be due to its harmonizing effect on hypothalamic centers. On a bioenergetic level, patchouli's heavy, earthly scent literally increases alpha brainwaves associated with calm focus, which is exactly what one needs for meditation or transitioning from a busy day into a restful evening. Patchouli's influence on the vagus nerve, though not extensively studied in literature, is implied by its capacity to simultaneously relax and center. Many users report a feeling of being reconnected to their body and experiencing a warm, secure sensation, often described as a gentle lowering of blood pressure and muscle tension after exposure. All these physiological responses paint a picture of patchouli as a holistic modulator of mood and stress. It dampens the extremes of anxiety and melancholy, revives flagging spirits, and roots the mind in the body. This beautifully mirrors patchouli's magical role of manifesting desire by engaging one brain's reward system in calming internal turmoil. Patchouli creates an optimal mental state for turning intentions into reality, making us feel abundant and sensually alive on a cellular level. And next we have Angelica, folk name Archangel, Masterwort, Holy Ghost root, Angel's herb. It's masculine, associated with the sun and the element of fire. It's associated with Venus in older sources and Archangel Michael in folk Christian lore. Also a sacred herb of angels in general, hence its name. Angelica root has a hallowed place in Western herbal magic as a supreme protector and healer. In medieval Europe, it was said Angelica was revealed to humans by the Archangel Michael or Raphael as a remedy against plague and evil spirits, giving rise to its nickname, Root of the Holy Ghost. To this day, metaphysical practitioners use Angelica to ward off negativity, evil enchantments, and illness with almost saintly force. The dried root is often carried in a white mojo bag by those seeking angelic protection. It serves as a personal talisman that guardians and guides are near. Sprinkling Angelica around the house or at the corners of one's property is believed to create a spiritual shield. One 19th century source advises doing this to ward off evil spirits and witchcraft, reflecting its traditional use in exorcisms and blessings. Angelica is an ingredient in holy water or blessing oils in some folk Catholic practices. The herbs are steeped and then the water is used to asperge a space for purification. Importantly, Angelica is also used to protect women and children especially. It was thought to safeguard women in childbirth and to keep mischievous fairies from swapping infants, a superstition about changelings. In neo-pagan and hoodoo practice, Angelica root, sometimes called Dong Quai, in the Chinese tradition, though that it is a different species, is included in charm bags for female power and health, earning it the moniker woman's root in some old texts. Magically, Angelica has a bright, fiery quality. Despite being a water-loving plant in nature, it is associated with the sun and fire, symbolizing light over darkness. Therefore, it's used in spells to invoke divine light, courage, and inner strength. For example, burning Angelica with frankincense can bless a new venture or cleanse a ritual space with a golden, uplifting energy. Angelica is also featured in visions and divination work. While not commonly used as a divinatory herb, as bay or mugwort, Angelica can be used to anoint the third eye. A few drops of Angelica-infused oil to enhance clairvoyance or angelic communication, essentially inviting the angelic vibration into one's psychic endeavors. In European folklore, bathing in Angelica, an infusion added to bathwater, was said to break curses and hexes and even cure spiritual afflictions, possessions by dark entities. Because of this, root workers include Angelica in uncrossing baths and floor washes, particularly for clients who need heavy-duty spiritual cleaning. It's worth noting that Angelica's gentler magical uses include fostering harmonious connection with nature spirits and the Fae. Perhaps because its umbellifer flowerhead looks like delicate celestial spheres, it is sometimes planted in gardens to invite beneficial fairies. In summary, Angelica stands out as a holy herb of protection, exorcism, and benediction. It carries a high vibration. Think of the uplifting aroma of the fresh plant that expels the monstrous and invites the miraculous. To the mage or healer, it is like having an angel's support in botanical form, bringing safety, courage, and a touch of divine guidance to all ritual workings. Angelica has a potent profile both medicinally and how it interacts with our nerves and physiology. Historically, Angelica was famed as a cure-all tonic, used to treat everything from digestive disorders to plague, and modern phytochemistry explains many of these uses. The root contains abundant furanocurcumins, such as imperataurin, xanthotoxin, and agelicin, as well as volatile oils, organic acids, and bitters. One of Angelica's key actions is a nervine and antispasmodic. It has the ability to soothe nervous tension and relieve muscle spasms. Scientific studies have isolated imperataurin and isoimperataurin from Angelica and demonstrated that they have significant anxiolytic, anxiety-reducing effects in animal models, comparable to moderate doses of diazepam. In a classic experiment, a mixture of Angelica's coumarins produced a notable reduction in anxious behaviors in rats using elevated plus maze tests, indicating that these compounds likely act on GABA A receptors or other neuroreceptor sites to promote calm. Intriguingly, it was observed that the whole extract, with all compounds, had more potent anxiolytic activity than isolated imperataurin alone, suggesting a synergistic effect among Angelica's constituents. This validates the traditional use of Angelica as a tea or tincture for nervous headaches, anxiety, and insomnia. Indeed, 19th century herbalists wrote that Angelica cheers the heart, likely alluding to its anxiety-relieving and gently stimulating properties. Angelica also exerts a warming circulatory influence as a member of the celery family with aromatic oils. When taken, it causes a mild vasodilation and increased blood flow, which can help with cold-induced tension or stress. On the vagus nerve, Angelica's impact comes through its effect on the gut and heart rate. It is a carminative, reducing gas and intestinal cramping, thereby activating parasympathetic responses that ease digestion. Many vagal afferents are in the gut. By calming GI discomfort, Angelica indirectly reduces vagal distress signals that can heighten anxiety. Additionally, Angelica has been studied for neurological benefits beyond anxiety. One Chinese study noted that in diabetic neuropathy, Angelica injections promoted nerve regeneration and functional recovery. Another fascinating aspect is Angelica's effect on the respiratory system. It is an expectorant and bronchial relaxant, historically used for asthma and coughs. By easy breathing, and perhaps through mild modulation of histamine or acetylcholine in the lungs, Angelica can enhance oxygenation and produce a calm, clear-headed feeling. We might liken this to how deep breathing stimulates the vagus nerve. Angelica aids that process by physically helping one breathe easier. Moreover, Angelica root's bitter principles support liver function and detoxification. In traditional European medicine, a well-functioning liver was thought to stabilize mood. We know now the liver metabolizes many hormones and wastes. Thus, a course of Angelica tonic could alleviate melancholic moods or brain fog by improving metabolic and inflammatory balance. On a molecular level, Angelica's imperataurin is also being researched for neuroprotective effects, including possible acetylcholinesterase inhibition, helping memory, and anti-seizure activity. Some coumarins are noted to have anticonvulsant properties. It is remarkable that a plant known as angelic indeed seems to touch so many body systems with a healing hand. It calms the nerves, fights microbes, reduces inflammation. One of its traditional uses was to relieve pain, and even has anti-cancer properties in lab studies. One must note, however, that Angelica's furanocurcumins can cause photosensitivity, an interesting side effect where the skin becomes extra reactive to UV light. This is cautionary medically, but metaphorically, it's like the plant literally causes one to be filled with light. In proper doses, Angelica root is safe and profoundly fortifying. When one takes Angelica, the subjective experience often reported is a gentle warmth in the stomach, a relaxation of shoulder and neck tension, where we often carry stress, and a clearing of mental fog, as if an angelic presence lifted a weight. Scientifically, we can attribute that to enhanced cerebral circulation, mild MAO inhibition, and GABAergic calm. It's a beautiful instance of magic meeting physiology. The archangel that banishes demons in lore corresponds to compounds that banish anxiety and infection in the body. The holistic effect is one of feeling protected and invigorated from within. Little wonder that throughout history, people have thought of Angelica as a gift from celestial realms. It seemingly illuminates our inner systems, guiding us back to health and serenity. And next up we have Calendula. Folk name Marigold, Marybud, Pot Marigold, Bride of the Sun. It's masculine, associated with the sun and the element fire. It's associated with Virgin Mary, Christian lore, hence Mary's gold, Apollo or Helios, sun gods, and Oshun in syncretic traditions for love and wealth. Calendula, pot marigold, is a bright golden flower long cherished for its protective and uplifting magic. Its vivid petals resemble rays of the sun, and accordingly, calendula is often used in spells to invoke solar energy for prosperity, joy, and clarity. Garlands of marigolds were strung over doorposts or hung on porch rails to guard the home and bring good fortune inside. This practice was not merely decorative. Lore said that where calendula shines, no malign spirit dares to linger. Calendula is also famous for its role in legal matters and justice spells. Carried into court or sewn into a cap, it was believed to ensure a favorable outcome for the wearer by dazzling the minds of judges and opponents, much as its bright color dazzles the eyes. The petals have been used as a component in charm bags or incenses when one needs to see the truth or win an argument, reflecting the flower's association with the clarity of sunlight. Additionally, marigold is strongly connected to psychic dreams and visionary experiences. A traditional usage was placing marigold, calendula petals under one's pillow to induce prophetic dreams. For instance, a legend says that if you put calendula under your bed, you may dream of the thief if you've been robbed. This speaks to calendula's reputed power to reveal hidden truths and shine a light on mysteries. Calendula is also a love herb in many cultures. In some wedding customs, marigold garlands were worn by brides. Summer's bride is a folk name, to ensure a happy marriage and mutual devotion. Likewise, bathing in calendula-infused water was said to attract respect and admiration. One spell suggests that washing your face with marigold water will make all who look upon you love you. Because the flower is sacred to the Virgin Mary, Christians called it Mary's gold, it also has a purifying, almost saintly aspect. It's included in holy rituals during Feasts of the Annunciation in some places, symbolizing divine grace. In the Day of the Dead ceremonies, marigolds, which are cousins of calendula, are used to guide spirits with their bright color and scent. By extension, in magic, calendula can be used to honor ancestors and guide benevolent spirits to ritual space. In hoodoo and root work, calendula is known for drawing success and reward, like the sun's blessings. People will keep calendula in a cash register or purse to invite wealth or use it in floor washes for business success. When used in combination with other herbs, calendula tends to brighten and augment their effects. For example, combined with rosemary and frankincense, it creates a powerful cleansing incense that not only banishes negativity, but also imbues the place with warmth and confidence. Ultimately, calendula's magical personality is very benevolent and radiant. It's the friendly light that protects you from the dark, the warm gold that attracts luck and cheer, and the gentle fire that can burn away illusions and sorrow. Folklore even claimed calendula could help one see fairies or pierce glamours when burned. To use calendula magically is to invite the sun's healing and illuminating power into your life, something witches and healers have done gladly for ages. Calendula is renowned in herbal medicine as a powerful healer of the body, particularly for the skin and immune system. While its direct effects on the nervous system are not as pronounced as some of the other herbs, it indirectly supports neurological health by reducing inflammation and promoting tissue repair. Pharmacologically, calendula is rich in triterpenoids, flavonoids, and carotenoids, which give it strong anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, and antioxidant qualities. When it comes to the vagus nerve and parasympathetic function, one way calendula contributes is by facilitating wound healing and reducing infection, thereby lowering systemic stress signals. For example, during the Civil War, field doctors applied calendula to soldiers' wounds. Modern research shows calendula extracts can increase collagen production and angiogenesis, new blood vessel formation in skin, speeding healing. By quickly resolving injuries and infections, calendula prevents the prolonged cytokine release and pain that would keep the body in a fight or flight state. Instead, it helps the body return to a rest and digest parasympathetic state by calming the inflammatory response. Calendula's effect on skin and mucous membranes also means it soothes nerve endings on those surfaces. For instance, a burn or rash treated with calendula feels less painful due to calendula's demulcent and anti-inflammatory action, thus sending fewer distress signals to the brain. Internally, calendula has been used for gastric ulcers and inflammatory bowel conditions, again via its ability to quell inflammation and possibly by its flavonoids' influence on cytokines and histamine. A calmer gut equates to a calmer vagus nerve, since the vagus is heavily involved in sensing gut irritation. There is also some evidence that calendula preparations can mildly lower blood pressure and relax muscle spasms, likely through calcium channel blocking or prostaglandin modulating effects. This could certainly relax the body and indirectly the mind. Another fascinating area is calendula's immune modulating effects. It appears to stimulate phagocytic activity, helping immune cells clean up microbes, while also limiting excessive immune reactions. In practical terms, if someone has an infection or autoimmune flare, calendula can reduce the severity and duration, meaning less overall stress on the system and potentially less activation of stress pathways in the brain. Neurologically, while calendula isn't classed as a sedative, it may have mild calmative properties through serotonin receptor binding. Some herbalists suspect if flavonoids interact with serotonin receptors, as many plant flavonoids do, which could improve mood and anxiety modestly. Moreover, the bright orange pigments, carotenoids, like lutein, in calendula are known to support eye health and may protect neural tissue from oxidative damage. Lutein crosses into the brain and is associated with cognitive benefits in aging. So regularly consuming calendula tea or tincture might over time contribute to neuroprotection. Calendula's gentle detoxifying effect on the liver also means it helps clear metabolites that could affect brain chemistry. An example is estrogen metabolites that, if not cleared, can cause PMS anxiety or irritability. By supporting liver clearance, calendula indirectly stabilizes mood swings. In summary, calendula's impact on the body is largely repair and balance. It may not directly sedate you like chamomile or valerian, but by healing wounds, easing inflammation, and fighting off pathogens, it removes physical stressors that would otherwise keep the nervous system on edge. This reflects a subtler kind of support for the vagus nerve and brain. A body in a state of healing and equilibrium sends all clear signals via the vagus, allowing the mind to remain peaceful. And of course, seeing one's wounds heal or skin improve also boosts mental morale, a psychosomatic uplift. Calendula essentially infuses the body with sunshine in a biochemical way, fostering conditions for nerves to function without alarm. Little wonder that those who use calendula, salves, or teas often describe feeling comforted by it. That comfort is calendula's golden glow working through the body and mind, true to its reputation as a herb that brightens life both inside and out. And lastly, we have vervain. Folk name enchanter's plant, herb of grace, van, Louisiana Creole hoodoo blend name, and verbena. It is feminine. It is often associated with the planet Venus, with some attributions to Mercury and Jupiter. It is associated with the water element and sometimes earth, and is associated with Isis, Egyptian, legend says vervain sprang from her tears, Venus, the Roman goddess of love due to herb of Venus name, Ceridwen, which is Celtic, also associated with Thor, Nordic, as it was sacred in some Thor worship rituals, and Aridia, in the legend of witchcraft. Vervain is hailed as one of the most sacred plants in Western occult tradition. Its very name, Herba Sacra, holy herb, and enchanter's plant, bespeak its high esteem among druids, magicians, and healers. In Celtic lore, druids used vervain to cleanse altars and sacred tools. Before rituals, they would dip vervain in water to asperge participants and spaces, a practice mirrored in its use to make lustral water for purification rites. To this day, purification is a primary magical use of vervain. Burned as incense or sprinkled as an infusion, it drives out hostile spirits and negative energies, leaving behind an aura of peace and sanctity. Vervain's purifying power was so reputed that in myth, King Solomon was said to have cleansed his temple with vervain. The herb is also strongly tied to protection and blessing. Witches carried vervain in sachets to avert evil, soldiers in ancient Rome carried it for protection in battle, and farmers in Europe would scatter vervain on their fields at midsummer to ensure a good harvest and protect the land from storms. The wide cultural appearances of vervain, in Egyptian, Greek, Roman, Celtic, and so on, as a sacred herb, underline its universality in magic. Besides its defensive aspects, vervain is famous as a spell enhancer and facilitator of magic. It's often included in spell mixes as a sort of catalyst, known as a herb that can boost the power of other herbs and intentions. Perhaps this is why magicians of old anointed themselves with vervain. They believed it would bestow magical powers or strengthen one's will. Indeed, a historical note says sorcerers who drank vervain infusion could more easily commune with spirits and cast more effective spells. Love and fertility are also domains of vervain's influence. In medieval times, vervain was mixed into love potions and placed under mattresses to rekindle passion, its Venusian side. It was a key ingredient in many famous love formulas. Even today, modern Van oil, a classic hoodoo preparation for luck and clearing, derives its name from a Creole pronunciation of vervain and includes it to clear obstacles and open the road to good luck in love and money. Vervain has also been used to attract wealth and good fortune. Often in synergy with other herbs like cinnamon or patchouli, sprinkling vervain in your shop or wallet is said to invite prosperity. Perhaps through its road-opening, cleansing nature, remove negativity and good luck flows in. A very prominent use of vervain is in matters of the mind and inspiration. Nicknamed enchanter's plant, it historically provided inspiration to poets and artists. It's said Roman poets wore vervain laurels to stimulate creativity. Modern witches use it to enhance psychic ability and intuition. For instance, drinking vervain tea or smoking a bit of vervain, it's mildly relaxing, before divination is believed to sharpen the third eye and call forth clear visions. It's no surprise that an herb so steeped in ritual was considered most mystical plant on earth by some Victorian occultists. Lastly, vervain has a gentle use in promoting peace and reconciliation. Sprinkling around the home, it calms quarrels and fosters harmony. Some call it wishful herb because it grants wishes for a peaceful home. In summary, vervain's magical resume is rich. It purifies, protects, attracts love and luck, ignites inspiration, and sanctifies all that it touches. Witches often remark that if they could only have a handful of herbs in their practice, vervain would be one, because it is like the Swiss Army knife of magical herbs. From druid ceremonies to hoodoo spells, vervain carries the vibration of sacred intensity. It is the herb of holy rites and enchanted nights, capable of turning the mundane into the magical. Vervain, while subtle in flavor and scent, has notable effects on the body's nervous system and overall health. It is classified as a nervine relaxant and restorative in herbal medicine. The plant contains iridoid glycosides as well as flavonoids and tannins. These constituents underlie vervain's reputation for relieving stress and tension. Clinically, vervain has been observed to reduce anxiety and improve mood in both animal studies and traditional practice. For instance, one study noted that an herbal combination including verbena produced significant improvements in anxiety-related behaviors, and isolating verbena's compounds showed likely GABAergic activity, meaning vervain's iridoids can modulate GABA receptors, leading to a mild tranquilizing effect much like valerian or skullcap, though gentler. Vervain is particularly known to alleviate that tight neck and shoulders tension associated with stress. Herbalists like Kiva Rose have described vervain's effect as almost magical for people who are hypermental, holding their stress in rigid posture. Vervain seems to unlock that pattern, causing a notable drop of the shoulders and a sigh of relief after intake. This may be due to verbanalin's action as a muscle relaxant, possibly influencing nicotinic acetylcholine receptors or ion channels in muscle nerve synapses. Additionally, vervain has been used as a sleep aid when stress is the culprit of insomnia. Its combined anxiolytic and slight sedative properties help reduce sleep latency, time to fall asleep, and improve sleep depth. Indeed, it was traditionally taken in wine at Samhain to connect with ancestor spirits, which also implies it helps one enter the dream meditative state smoothly. In terms of the vagus nerve, vervain likely stimulates it indirectly by promoting relaxation and digestion. It's a bitter herb, and bitters trigger vagal responses that increase digestive secretions and peristalsis. So, drinking vervain tea can help if someone's digestion is upset by nervousness, the classic butterflies in the stomach, by both calming the nerves and encouraging normal digestive function. Vervain is also noted as a galactagogue, promotes breast milk, and a emmenagogue, stimulates menstruation, which indicates it has effects on the endocrine system and smooth muscle, likely through pituitary or hypothalamic modulation to some extent. This points to a broader regulatory effect on the body's systems, aligning with parasympathetic vagal activation. Rest, digest, and reproductive functions resume properly when one is not in fight or flight. Chemically, some of Vervaine's iridoids have shown antidepressant-like effects in animal models, possibly by modulating the HPA axis or neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, though more research is needed. On the inflammatory side, Vervain has demonstrated anti-inflammatory and analgesic properties, reducing cytokines and acting somewhat like an herbal NSAID which can reduce chronic pain that burdens the nervous system. The plant also possesses a slight antispasmodic effect on the bronchial tubes. It has been used for asthma or chronic cough as calmative. By easing breathing, it helps quell respiratory panic and thus soothes the vagus nerve, which mediates cough reflex and bronchoconstriction. Historically, Vervain was even used to treat the vapors or fainting spells in anxious Victorian ladies, hinting at its ability to bring someone out of a panicked state gently. Cognitive effects of Vervain include enhancing focus and mental clarity after the fact. Interestingly, by relaxing the parts of us that are over-tense, it frees up mental energy for creativity and focus. This correlates with accounts of Vervain improving flow states in creative work, hence its use by poets, which, from a neural perspective, could be due to increased alpha wave activity or balanced neurotransmitter levels. Summing up, Vervain's approach is harmonization of the neurophysiological terrain. It doesn't knock you out, it tunes the system, turning down the overfirings, anxiety and tension, and bolstering the underperforming areas, digestion, mood, intuition. Such an effect is analogous to its magical role in clearing negativity and opening one up to inspiration. Physiologically, it clears stress and opens one up to a calmer, more receptive state. Indeed, one might feel both relaxed and a touch euphoric or spiritually aware after a dose of Vervain. Relaxed because of lowered cortisol and muscle tension, spiritually aware perhaps due to slight shifts in perception or simply the absence of anxiety that allows subtler sensations to surface. In a word, Vervain could be seen as the herbal embodiment of flow, reducing internal friction, physical or emotional, so the mind-body system flows naturally, whether in healing, sleeping, creating, or communing with the unseen. This makes Vervain not just an enchanter's herb by legend, but by direct action on our enchanted vessel, the human body and mind. From the gentle dream-inducing smoke of mugwort to the fierce nerve-numbing bit of clove, we have seen that the herbs, woods, and resins beloved in ritual magic are far from superstition. They actively engage our bodies and minds in specific ways that underpin their mystical repute. These botanicals each demonstrate a fascinating correspondence between magical intent and neurophysiological effect. Aromatics like sandalwood, cedar, sweetgrass, and palo santo, used for peace and sanctity, indeed trigger the olfactory pathways to calm the limbic system, lower stress hormones, and promote parasympathetic states. Aromatics like sandalwood, cedar, sweetgrass, and palo santo, used for peace and sanctity, indeed trigger the olfactory pathways to calm the limbic system, lower stress hormones, and promote parasympathetic, relaxed states. Protective herbs such as juniper and clove, employed to ward off evil and stop gossip, in fact contain compounds that kill pathogens and numb pain, literally defending the body's integrity and silencing pain signals. Visionary and psychic enhancers like wormwood and mugwort, fabled to open the third eye, do modulate our neurotransmitters through Jones' effect on GABA receptors to heighten sensory vividness and alter consciousness toward dreamlike states. The underworld allies, Yew and Mandrake, notorious for their roles in death and trance, unmistakably show us the extremes of nervous system manipulation. Mandrake's hallucinogenic tropanes causing sedation and hallucination, blocking cranial nerve functions like the oculomotor and vagus, and Yew's taxines bringing neurons and heart to a deadly standstill, a chemical death that mirrors its symbolic role in rebirth magic. Time and again, we find out what the wise women and cunning men observed empirically: an herb that soothes nerves, one that kindles love, another that chases demons, aligns with how these plants interact with our 12 cranial nerves and broader nervous system. The olfactory nerve in particular emerges as a primary mystical conduit. Through smell, these plant allies enter directly into the emotional brain, serving as olfactory talismans that guard, heal, or inspire as needed. Meanwhile, herbs acting on the trigeminal nerve or vagus nerve, whether to numb pain, stimulate digestion, or slow breath, anchor magical intentions in bodily realities of pain relief, courageous calm, or gut-level intuition. This interdisciplinary exploration shows that the distance between a spell and a dose is not so far. In many cases, the spell's power is partly the plant's power on our nerves, concentrating the mind or fortifying will through biochemical influence, even as the spiritual intention guides the power towards a goal. An academic might say these plants are psychopharmacological agents in ceremonial context. A witch would say they are beloved familiars with whom we partner. Both are correct, and together enrich our understanding. Ultimately, what this deep inquiry affirms is that the ancients and modern practitioners who turned these herbs into sacred practice were, perhaps unwittingly, skilled neuroscientists of a kind, leveraging sensory inputs and natural neurochemicals to orchestrate desired states of consciousness and protection. The 12 cranial nerves, mediators of sensation, vision, autonomic control, and more, are the threads through which these plants' allies weave their magic into our very flesh. And so, when a magus brings a sprig of cedar to banish fear, we can appreciate that the smoke carries not only metaphorical prayers, but also compounds that calm the heart via the vagus nerve. When a dreamer drinks mugwort tea to seek a vision, thujone crosses the blood-brain barrier to spark luminous dream imagery in the visual cortex. The presentation of these findings, we hope, not only highlights the lore and biochemical lore of each herb, but also underscores a larger insight. The practice of magic has always been, in a sense, an applied neuroscience, tuning the exquisite instrument of the human nervous system with the herbs of the earth. In closing, as academic as our analysis has been, it brings us back to a reverence. These plants, whether used to lighten the spirit, steal the nerve, or open the mind's eye, show an interplay of mind and nature that is awe-inspiring. The wise practitioner, armed with both traditional knowledge and modern understanding, can engage with these herbs with an even deeper sense of respect and purpose. The ritual burning of incense or brewing of a potion becomes a harmonization of plant neurochemistry and human consciousness, all directed by sacred intention. This is magic in its essence. Intention fused with nature's mechanism, producing real transformation. And as our journey through St. John's Wort to you has shown, the line between the mystical and the medical is wonderfully thin as a strand of sweetgrass smoke curling towards the sky, carrying prayers and perhaps a bit of coumarin to quiet the mind, exemplifying how the physical and spiritual converge in the realm of the 12 cranial nerves. Next time, as we are about to light our incense or charcoal disc or starting to create our mixture, with our issue at hand and Savior in our mind, what are we really trying to cure?